play that song no more because the sponsors get mad.
Oh, we're stealing music. We
Still
can't.
gonna do it.
We can't steal music, which is in our hearts. Welcome to the PARAcast, everybody. I'm your host, Tomas the Boss Hernandez, joining you from the green chair in the corner of a room that's not mine. Joining me tonight. No, he did have sex with that woman, and it was bad. It's Robert Wyatt.
Don't tell Andrea that. I mean, we got 2 kids at this point.
At least you can come by and say, like, baby, way better. You're way better. She means nothing to me. I thought she did. She means nothing. Things that mean nothing to me. The long-awaited switch to the iPhone. And so to give all the qualifiers for my comments moving forward, I got an iPhone 16 Pro, 512.
Hang on, Tommy. Tell us why you got it.
Because my Android started dropping me in the middle of the sentence.
No,
that's the reason why I had to switch phones. The reason why I bought an iPhone was because my whole family and Paige and her family are on iPhones. So I'm like, all right, like I've thought about this before. I would make the switch. I would see what's going on. And I got the iPhone. I tried transferring my files over with their little startup thing, and that didn't work because why would it? Why would it actually let me transfer? So I tried that 3 times. And then once you actually like log into the iPhone and start downloading apps, it no longer lets you try to transfer anything. So it's kind of a weird thing. My impressions of it. Great camera. Like every camera is going to be better than the camera I had. My phone was like 5 years old. It's a great camera. Nice stuff. The face unlock, all that jazz is great. I can do 4K 120 on it. So that's nice. That's pretty nice. That's a lot of Ks in the 20s and the 120 frames. I got the 5X. The camera's brilliant. The camera really is brilliant. So this iPhone 16, it's got the camera button on the side where you press it and then you can camera, and then when you're in manual mode you can use like literally slide your finger across it and it'll adjust focus or change modes or setting however you have it set up. And it's good. Here are my complaints.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
I just want to let you know, the camera on these phones is the single least compelling aspect of the entire phone. I don't like the cameras. I think the cameras are generally garbage. I am used to a real camera that actually works well and is quality, not these cheap-ass shit phone cameras. Yep. But everything else is great.
I guess everything else is great. Speaking of the camera, does the Samsung S25 have a better camera than the iPhone 16? Sure. Does it? When I'm sitting there recording video, what I'm used to on my Samsung is being able to press the back button so I can record front-facing, like record downrange, and then I can hit the back button, and then it'll go to the face cam.
I never knew that was even a thing until you said it just the other day, and then I looked at it on my phone. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is it not available? Why can't I do that?
There's things that have been like, remember, every feature that I'm talking about is a feature from a Galaxy like S10 or whatever, like a 2020 phone.
Don't worry, Tommy. In 5 years, Apple will introduce it with the iPhone 20, saying, "Look, the next greatest innovation,
the next greatest thing." So, the phone, like I was like, "Oh, well, how do I switch it back?" And it's just like, "Oh, I can't switch it back." It's like, "All right, I can live with it." The menu, the fact that you guys are now celebrating that we can now move icons on our phone to where we want is kind of like. It's a little weird. I mean, customizing however you want the home screen or wherever you want buttons or wherever you want apps on the phone. Like, you've been able to do that on Android forever.
But I've been able to do that on iPhone forever as well.
No, this is what I'm hearing.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe there's something different. I don't know.
Which is funny is like on the iPhone, I can't turn it to landscape and then have it. And then lock it in landscape. Like if I was reading an old like text document that wasn't made for mobile, I can't lock it in landscape. So it's like there's a lot of things. And then I finally figured out the green text. I finally figured out the green text for everybody. And like when I started getting green text now with an iPhone, I was like, oh, that looks terrible. The white background with the green text, it looks terrible. And then it's just like, wait a second, Thomas. Let's just change the background and then change what color the text come in. And then I'll make the SMS text like one color, and then I could have the other color. And this is the big crux about the iPhone. The customization on the iPhone, like the user interface, it's great. Once you learn it, super fantastic. Swipe around, do what you want. Siri's an excellent. I got the one with the Chat GPT, so she works with Chat GPT now. I can tell her to make me a workout program. She'll make me a workout program. I tell her, hey, I want to cook something. These are my ingredients. She says, do you want me to use Chat GPT? And I say, heck yeah. And then she pulls it up on Chat GPT and reads it off to you. The message integration, like messages, works so good. It's almost as good as Telegram. Like if someone sends me something on messages, I'm like, ooh, should I send them this photo or something on Telegram? And I'm just like, I'll just send them right here on messages, because messages is fantastic. It's a great app. The FaceTime's great. I had to move shooting files to Paige last night at Zupa's. I used AirDrop. That was pretty amazing.
Did you guys dock right there in the restaurant?
Well, we docked after I already had her contact information, so that was we just click. This is like, well, can't I just send it to you? But this is the cool thing.
Docking. That's the new age soaking for Mormons.
Yeah, the boy to boy. So there's a lot of the stuff. Like it's great. And it's in fact very good with interacting with other Apple iPhone users. Like the whole crux of it is if you're a lone man on an island, like in Android, like you got a PC, you're living your own life, you're going to rock an Android. On the iPhone, you're using it because everyone else around you has the iPhone. And because that makes it so much easier. But the one thing about the iPhone is the iPhone doesn't let you customize. The iPhone basically gives you what it's going to be. This is how it's going to have the layout. And then, you could build folders or whatever if you want and, move your icons around. The Samsung, that, when you get that phone, you can change everything. You can change the face layout. You can make your own little folders. I can download anything. Like, the one thing that on the iPhone is, I would download stuff or try to move stuff, and it goes where the iPhone wants it to go. I can't go into the iPhone and go no, I don't want these pictures here. I want these pictures in another album. I'm going to create another album and then have that one separate, or move that one over and have it logged to something else. Like if I wanted all my match videos in one folder and I did not want that folder to intermingle with family photos and stuff like that, on an Android I could do that. I could say I want to see my gallery, and I want to show my gallery in the folders I have. And it's just I don't want to look at all my photos.
You can do that. I actually there's a way I actually watched a thing on how to do it for receipts, and so logically you could do it for anything. You can actually create a shortcut so that when they import, they'd actually go to those locations.
Yeah, but it's not like create new file, copy, drag. It's on Android.
Yeah,
well, on Android, you can do that from your PC. I can plug in my Android from my PC and just type in I want this file, this file, this file, this file on Windows, and just sort it and drag and drop, pull off my phone or whatever like that. And the green text thing, I was getting back to, it's the customization of changing the colors or something like that on the text. There's apps that you can get that allow you to do that, but there's not a lot of stuff natively that does it. But as far as the call quality, better than my Samsungs.
That actually doesn't make any sense. I'll be honest with you. Why should the phone you use, why should the call quality be any better?
It's better. I don't know what it is. It's clearer in my
areas. I'm
not
saying you're wrong. It doesn't make any sense why that would be a difference.
It's clearer in areas. It sounds better. I mean, in the accessories, this is what tells you about the iPhone. You go into Walmart, you go buy a case. All the Samsung cases, they're unlocked. They're not in a case. And then all the iPhone stuff, you're well, this is the same price as the case that's on the Android side. The Android side's not locked up. And it's just well, the iPhone one is. So it's great. It's a good phone. I wish it hooked up to my PC. That's it. I wish it did that. It doesn't. But it's great for everything else in life.
Well, like everything that is the cult of the Mac, give it a year, and you'll have a Mac. And then you'll be walking around with your AirPods, and you too will be sitting there like sipping your chai mocha latte, looking at those poor bastards with their Samsung, saying, "Geez, I remember when I was poor white
Well,
trash."
the thing is about the Samsung, it's more expensive. This is the thing. The Samsung is like the Galaxy S20. Like if it was like a iPhone 16 versus a Galaxy S25, I'd get the S25 all day. If it's
Sure.
plus versus the Pro, then we're talking. We're starting to get into sixes territory where like the user interface and how easy it makes your life is something
Right,
different. Like
right.
I use the Galaxy S25 Plus. I think that's what it's called, or is it? Yeah, the Plus, which is their equivalent to the Pro. And it had Gemini AI with Bixby, and that was fantastic. Like that really worked well. The camera is immaculate. It's a little bit better of a zoom. The stuff that I would say this about the iPhone versus the S25. It's harder to have things and then lose them going to an iPhone than acquiring new things on the iPhone.
Sure.
Because like it's like I want to do this and I know that this is possible. Like I
Hmm.
know that this is possible. It's
Well,
just
and
not there.
I think generally there's probably a way to do most things. The one of the things talk about the customization, how you can drag things hither and skither and do stuff like that, and you're not wrong. I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's kind of an interesting pushback on that, and it's one of the reasons that when my parents were still alive, I pushed them so hard into the Apple ecosystem, was because in computers, I've always said this, but there are basically three types of people. There are people that know what they're doing, and they're great because they know what they're doing. They'll never call you. There's people who don't know what they're doing, and they're great because they can't get themselves into too much trouble. And then there's like the third person who knows just enough to like entirely fuck things up, and then they have your phone number to come fix it.
Yeah.
And my parents were basically the second and third. My mom didn't know anything, but my dad knew just enough. And if I actually, when I put them into the Apple ecosystem, because of the way that Apple built its little walled garden,
Yeah.
they couldn't fuck things up. They just couldn't mess them up so badly that I couldn't come in and be like, okay, here's how I need to fix things. My mom had an Android phone for a while before she had gotten that, and it's a great phone. I mean, it really is a good phone. It'll do everything you want. If you're the kind of person who likes to tinker and do whatever you want, customize all the stuff that you talk about, fantastic phone. But when she calls me and I have to come fix it, I'm just like, go to tech support in the mall because I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a few things like I'm happy I get to schedule text on this thing. Like that's good. Like I'm happy that that's a feature that's on there. It was on the Samsung. But like you just everybody has their kind of thing and Samsung really applies things to you like all these things are niche experiences. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
getting your contact by tapping the front of iPhone to iPhone, that's kind of a niche experience. Like is there a way that this could be solved some other way? Yeah, there's a billion ways that this can be solved. AirDrop, like there's other third parties that could do AirDrop or like Dropbox it or Google Drive it or whatever and share it or
Right. The hard thing is just that because and it comes down to who controls the hardware. Because Apple controls the hardware, they can do all of these things,
yep.
and ultimately they can end of life an entire line of old iPhones, so they can then do that AirDrop thing. Which honestly, the AirDrop is probably to me the one killer app. I mean, the fact that I can exchange full size files at really fast speed, and you'll see this like when we shoot the match on Tuesday, where you'll record something and immediately just you can just airdrop it,
Yeah.
and it just goes and it goes at the full quality. And I'm
Yep.
like, okay, that's actually pretty damn cool.
Yep, and the Android ecosystem's too varied to kind of probably let something like that happen.
Yeah.
Where everything's changed out. But like, for me, it's just like Sam's like Google Maps on the bottom half of the screen and YouTube playing at half the screen, not the tiny box, but the half of the screen, doing stuff like that. I will tell you, the user experience is great on the iPhone. I like it. The one place where where the Android beats the shit out of Apple is CarPlay.
Really?
Android Auto, sharper, cleaner. Google Maps is a better map system than the Apple system. And
Oh, I won't even use the Apple. the Apple system, the
Yeah.
Apple Maps or whatever. I mean, it tries to default to it when I drive, and if I use it's either Waze or Google Maps because it's just so much better.
Yeah, it's just a for me it's just on my 2023 GLI the Apple I mean the app the Android is just it's crisper, it's faster, plays better, less Bluetooth, sync issues or whatever like that. Like it's just
Right.
you know you press next song, jumps immediately to the next song, no problem. The Apple's like click, and then it kind of like it gets into it. But the other thing, the video processing on the iPhone, when you edit a video and throw it, like it cooks it and throws it right out. Like it's a good device. I'll keep it. My favorite thing is just for families. Man, it's really great for families, and that's where they get you. It's like, oh no, you can see your dying parents if you get FaceTime. You can see your dying. Would you like to know where your mom is when she falls? Just press on her text button and just to press the top, it'll show you where she's at. So there's a lot of good stuff like that, especially for family stuff. So we'll see. I'll do it.
People came here for a shooting podcast, and 20 minutes in, they're still
Yeah.
listening to
Well,
iPhone reviews.
iPhone reviews. Shooting reviews. I finally took Paige shooting. We went to the indoor range yesterday.
How'd you like it?
So we went in there. We went into Ready Gunner on a Saturday, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be loud. But what it was really shitty was there was 3 people next to us, and like everyone in there's just clacking off, just everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I hate about indoor ranges is when they let unsuppressed rifles in the 25-meter bay. Like if you're sitting there trying to get someone in there, and then like it's like you hear handgun shots, it's like, all right, it's loud, it's disruptive. And then you have literally in the booth next to us, someone was shooting a Draco, a 7.62 by 39 8-inch barreled pistol. And not only that, they were freaking annoying and terrible because they weren't aiming. They were hitting the top bulletproof, like runners. Like,
seriously?
Like just could not aim or whatever. I literally took the P2000, chambered around in it, stuck it in my pants, walked over there and said, hey, you got to stop shooting that thing. You got to put that thing way farther out and like aim it. And they're just like, 22-year-old, 23-year-old kids, with their Draco and whatever piece of shit that they were sitting there shooting. And it's just like, dude, no. And like they had the people called on them. And, there was just other rifles going out there. And it's just like, you do not need to go to the indoor range to shoot a rifle at 7 yards.
Right.
Like
the hardest thing about us in our world, in our ecosystem, USPSA, practical shooting, IDP, all that sort of stuff, is along the way you get into it for whatever reason you get into it, like, oh, I want to be as a better tactical shooter, self-defense, stuff like that. And pretty quick, I mean, it happens very, very quick. You start to turn into an elitist prick, and you really hate indoor ranges, and you really hate gun owners because they're just like, you guys suck, and you're terrible at what you do, and you should feel ashamed for doing that, casually forgetting that you used to be that guy at the same time.
yeah. Well,
But I don't care. It's still annoying when you're trying to teach a brand new person who's just trying to become comfortable in that environment.
Well, we're with new. Like if you're on like ROing the new shooter squad, you're like, all right, like this is going to be a day, and I'm going to have to like watch the muzzles and all that stuff. And then you walk into a 10 lane, range, and it's all other 9 ranges are full, and there you have like 3 people per line, and there's people handling guns. It's just like, Paige, stay in front of this baffle here on the side. This thing's at least bulletproof that we're sitting there standing on in case somebody's winging something or doing something weird. But anyways, she's got her VP9 set up. This is how you hold a gun. Keep your hands in the same pressure position. Prep the trigger. Press through. Start pulling them like level but right. And it's like, all right, you're just pulling the trigger over to the right when you shoot. Stop doing that. And so we start doing this, and we have this big old sheet, and it has targets out of the size of playing cards. So she starts shooting them. And then she's like able to keep like with her VP9 with her dot on it. She's able to keep like everything on a playing card. I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. Hand her the P30. A little bit different trigger. She's able to keep a little bit right. She's pulling a little bit right, but a 2-inch group to the right of a playing card. Give her, I was like, all right, let's try iron sights. A double action iron sight gun. Give her a P2000. Right around, like very, very closer touching like another card. And I'm like, cool. Hand her the Mark 23 suppressed. I fire a couple shots out of it. Show her like it's fine, safe, it's easy. She shoots. She aims, fires it, and she goes like, "Oh, that hit like exactly where I want." It's like, "Yeah, it will." And we put the. I was like, "All right, we're sitting there, and we send the runner all the way back to the end of the 25-yard bay, like all the way to the back. And it's so far back there, like you can kind of see in the camera's view, you can kind of see the people next to us are their bay, and like their thing's probably like at 7 yards, and everyone else is shooting, but their things are so freaking close. And I told Paige, is like, I'm gonna teach you, and we're gonna have that thing all the way back there, and you're gonna make hits, because everyone here can't shoot. Like when we walked in, I was like 4 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards. Like one person with a rifle shooting at 10 or something like that, and it's just like, all these people suck. I'm gonna make you way better than all these people.
See, that's that unconscious elitism that starts coming out.
Well, it's
you're not wrong. Look, you're not wrong. Honestly,
I'm. It's just, and so like, and she's like, nervous. She's shot 2 rounds out of a pistol before. She bought a Smith & Wesson 40 caliber shield. Shot it once. That was enough. Went back, shot it once, and she went in there, and it's like, it's booming, like it's just like, it's really hard. But anyway, she like really sucked it up and did it, and then did great. And so I hand her the Mark 23. We run the damn thing all the way to the end of the 25-yard bay. I say, aim, collarbones and up, and try to get what you get. She fires a shot. We bring it close. She hits it right in the freaking nose on her shot, and like then we send it back out there and just said, all right, it's basically a B8. Shoot 10 rounds out of your VP9 on the same target, and she clusters a good set on the chest, and then like has like 3 of them above like the right nipple, and it's just like for 25 yards and 10 rounds, I'll take that all day long. And so like I shot like 25 rounds the whole entire time, and she shot it and she loved it. She goes like, this is fun. And we're at Zupa's having dinner. She goes, is shooting expensive?
No, not at all. Honey.
And I was like, well, the range was like $30. And she goes, well, like how much is like the bullets? Because I really like doing this. And it's just like, well, that 9mm is probably like 15 cents around now. If we load it, the 45 is probably like 40 cents around, even if it's loaded. So she just had a great time. And so she's just like, we getting together, sitting there, and she's just like getting back home. And she's like, where's my gun at? I was like, it's in the car. Like, we have like 2 other guns right here. She's like, can you just go get my gun? So I go get her gun. And she's like, okay, I like this gun. It's just like, yes, it's a good gun. Like, you're starting pretty high up there. And then today we get home from church, and she's just like getting into her safe. And I was like, why are you getting into your, let's say, well, I want to see my old gun. I want to feel, and like, so like now the bug's bitter. And so like, I spent 27 years since I found out what a Mark 23 was till I got the own one and shoot one. She gets one on freaking week 1 of handgun stuff, but it was great. It was a wonderful time. She freaking loved it and just killed it.
That's awesome. No, I mean I like you sent the video and I'm like, wait, you made her start with the Mark 23, and I'm like, what kind of bastard are you? Like, no. She started with something lighter. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's like, here, little lady, try this hand cannon. You'll love it.
Yeah, here's this. The funny thing about that Mark 23 suppressed is it's such a heavy side, and it has the suppressor on it that it really doesn't want to go anywhere. Instead of having like a recoil impulse that pushes into your hand, it's like a wave went under the gun. It's like the gun's a boat and a wave went under it. And you're just like, well, that was kind of weird. That doesn't feel like a recoil impulse, but that's all it is.
Right.
And so like it was very...
Well, there's so much front end on that gun that, I mean, left to its own device, it feels like when you fire the gun, it wants to actually pull forward out of your hands as opposed to recoil back.
Yeah, it's a soft lift, and really the only thing that prevents it from really being able to be shot like quick is the length of the cycle impulse on the gun, just this weird kind of cycle impulse. But you could really, if you got used to it, you could shoot that thing pretty dang fast. But yeah, it was fun. She's got her VP9. She loves it. So,
well, the VP9 is a great gun. I mean, I remember like forever ago, Andrea was looking at getting another gun, and it basically came down to the Glock 17 or getting a VP9.
Yeah.
And ultimately price went out. That's really what it came down
Yeah.
to. I mean, because at the time the VP9s were 900 and something. Now they've really dropped in price now. And so she bought the Glock 17 and she's always loved it. But the VP9, outside of the magazine release being that little paddle thing, which maybe you get used to. I mean, over time, I'm sure you get used to it. But
Well, here's the thing. That's all I have over here is HKs. And so that's all Paige knows is HKs. So, she's like, and like the other ones will have a button on the side, like over here. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I like this. I like pushing the paddle down. I was like, good, fine, do it.
that fine German engineering.
Yep. So, speaking about fine German engineering, you got a pistol that has fine in it, but no German engineering.
No German.
That's for sure.
The finest engineers in Gilbert, Arizona. So my buddy called me up and he's like, "Hey, um, I have this gun, but being in California, I can't really get it." And I'm like, "Okay, that's not a problem. You want me just to drive it down for you?" And he's like, "Well, that's a thought." And then he's like, "No, no, I think I'll just get rid of it." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Can you just get it and then sell it and send me the money?" I'm like, "Sure." And he's like, "Well, it's cool. It's this CZ A01 LD." And I'm like, "That's a fine gun." He's like, "Yes, it is." And so I give him all the information. And he calls you back. He's like, "Hey, why don't you just buy it?" And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "I'll give it to you for what are they going for on Gunbroker? I'll give it to you for half of that." And so we look it up on Gunbroker, and he's like, "How about $1,200?"
Yeah, that would be a steal. Like if you bought it off someone legitly, like if someone said my husband died, how much is this worth? And you said $1,200, you'd be cast off from society from doing such a feat to somebody.
Yeah. And so, after the long awkward pause, he's like, "Is that too much?" And I was like, "No, no, no, it's okay, it's okay. We'll do that. We'll do that." So, so Thursday I show up to the armory for that match, and Steven was there, and he's like, "Hey, got your gun?" I'm like, "Sweet." And so I now own this new CZ A01 LD, and it it is a very expensive gun at retail, but you can see where because see it's a full frame, it's LD long
Yeah,
dust cover.
yeah. So like, imagine a CZ Shadow 2, and then go from there, Robert.
Yeah. So I mean, it's actually closer to a CZ75, but so you take the tack sport, that long dust cover on the tack sport. It goes all the way out. It's got a bull barrel.
It's non-rail dust cover.
That's what it's called, non-rail dust cover. But it's got so on 1911s how they have the captured guide rod where you have to put the little the paper clip in it.
Yeah, the
It
two
has
piece
that.
catch. Yeah,
And that's cool. What's really interesting to me about it is they took a look at this is all from CZ Custom, but they took a look at what the Shadow 2, the 75 line did, and they made these little improvements that most normal people who just don't pay attention to it would never even notice. Little things like there's a sear spring, and if you want to remove the sear cage and the safeties and things, you have to lift that thing up and then just kind of like push it over to the side, and it just sits there. Sometimes it'll actually flip back into the little groove that prevents it from coming out. In this case, they actually cut a notch so that you could lift the spring up and drop the leg right in there. Comes out. It's all contained. Like stupid little things. And then they have where you have the magazine release and the lifter spring on the CZ75. There's this screw, and the problem that everybody runs into is is kind of staked in, but as soon as you break that thing, so many people putting it back together, they don't get the screw set right. It causes problems. And in this case, they put a spring-loaded pin that basically there's a washer that sits on top of it, and that retains everything.
yeah.
It's just dumb, stupid little like just quality of life improvements that generationally may have come into the CZs at some point, but CZ Custom actually did it. It's a remarkably interesting gun. I mean, if just from that weird autistically I like to build things kind of thing, it's that part is awesome. And so I mean I've spent the past couple of days. I shot it. I mean I had it at the range, and so I shot it, and it shoots great. right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's got a very nice balance. It's all of my CZs are heavy anyway, so it's not like, oh my gosh, this is so much heavier.
And
It's very similar in weight.
is it less front heavy than a Shadow 2?
It feels better balanced.
Yeah.
That's really it more than anything. It just feels better balanced.
And it's still what, 50 ounces stock?
51 ounces unloaded, I believe, is what it is. My CZs are 54, with all the shit in them that was trying to balance that gun back.
Yeah. But
And
not 43 ounce or 44 ounce regular Shadow 2 heavy.
right, exactly. But
Still
it's
fits the
great.
holsters.
Oh, dude, I forgot about that. Yeah, so it actually fits in a CZ holster. It uses PO9 mags. That's the one thing that I'm not
Wow.
super jazzed about because I have so many 75 series mags. But the PO9 mags, PO9 P10F, those mags, they're great. You can buy them all over the place, and a lot of times you can find deals on them and stuff like that.
Yeah, CZ USA had the 19 round or whatever POF Nocturne Max for $10
Oh, that
a
would have
few
been nice
months
too.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
That would have been
well,
great.
crap.
That would have
Hindsight
been
and all that.
that would have been fantastic. Could have got 5 of them for the price of
I
an HK mag.
Oh, I know. It'd be awesome. But so the only downside of that gun was that it's an iron sights only gun.
Yeah.
And so it's like, cool, you could shoot production. I don't know if it's on the list, but you could shoot production or something like that with it. I'm like, well, I'm never going back to production. And so I called up my buddy Josh, because Josh, I mean, in Salt Lake, I mean, nobody can cut a gun for an optic in the time frame and the price and as good as Josh does. He's by far the best one in the entire valley who does the work. And I handed it off to him today, and so he's going to be cutting it to accept the. See, I want to say Delta Point Pro, but
Oh,
it's
yeah, the
the
Vortex
Vortex
Defender
Yeah,
series.
and so he's going to be cutting it for that, and it's going to be great. This is the first gun that I've ever actually cut for something that wasn't an SRO, and so there's like no joke. There's this part of me that's kind of like cringing because it's not an SRO, and I'm SROs are kind of my ride or die optic
Yeah.
because I've had such good luck with them. But the Vortex, they've really been good optics, and I like them a lot, and so I'm just like, let's just do it. Let's try it. I put vortexes on other plate system guns, and they've been awesome. And so for this gun, why not? We'll put it on there. But I'm super excited. Josh does such an amazing job. He's got so many slides for me, and I'm just tickled pink because I might have that thing back as soon as Thursday, and if that happens, I think I'll probably shoot the not a cop match with that gun because I think it'd be fun.
No, that would be fun. I mean, you kind of have an embarrassment of riches right now, which like I have this Mark 23, but I can't shoot that in anything.
Okay, so
but
that's actually the cool thing,
got,
though, Tommy.
You got
Go ahead.
you got your Shadow 2s, you got your Staccato HD that you could shoot in limited optics that you shot and have been liking, and then you got this A01D LD, which is like, for what a lot of people would consider the Grail kind of production CO limited optics CZ pistol. I mean, like, people can be like, I want a Shadow 2 orange, but this is quite a large step from the Shadow 2 orange.
Yeah. The nice thing about the whole deal is like even with the Staccato, like out of pocket, I didn't out of pocket any money on the Staccato, and on this one, as soon as like I kind of said I'm going to buy this thing, I sold one of my Shadow 2s.
Yeah.
And this one I'll be $200 out of pocket.
Yeah.
And that's not bad.
No.
I mean, that's just not bad for that gun. And so, I mean, I know it's girl math to say that it only cost me $200, but I mean, I've been sitting on a lot of these guns for a while, and so I'm excited. I'm excited. I think it's actually a really fine gun. There's so many just little things about that gun. The way that I hold a Shadow 2 with my hands, so my thumbs are always curled down because of the ejection port. The way that I don't know what it is, maybe it's just anecdotal, but I don't have to do that with that A01.
Yeah.
My thumbs are naturally away from the ejection port, and so It's really cool. I'm excited to play around
So
with it. There's
is the action set different? Is it set more like a PO9? Is that because is it a CZ75 from the ground up, or is it a completely different build from the ground up, and that's why it's taking? Is it like a metal PO9? Is what I'm saying.
I don't know because when I'm looking at I have it all opened up and the internals and the way and the geometry of everything, it's all 75 internals.
Yeah.
I mean, in the way the lifter springs, the bar, the trigger return spring, everything like that is all 75 series. I don't know how they took and how or why they took and shoved an '09 magazine into it
Yeah.
when they had a perfect working uh, the 75 series magazines. I don't know why they did that. I'd be interested to find that out. Maybe just the world is moving towards that, which doesn't make any sense to me. But
Yeah.
um, I hold the gun differently. I do know that. So
Awesome.
it's cool. I'm excited for it.
No,
I think it's gonna be so much fun, and you can't beat the deal on it.
well, if you gotta beat a deal, use promo code PARA10 and save 10% off your Dominate Defense Belt. Mach 1 Speed Belt, your carry belt, or your concealment belt. Check them out. Concealment. What the heck am I saying? Dominate
Man,
Defense.
that is
That's a blast. Dominate Defense. Use promo code PARA10 and save 10% off your order. Also, check out Rune Tactical. Get a +1 for more fun in your gun. That's right. Get your followers and your magazine springs to boost up your magazine's capacity, and then
I might need to replace my magazines. The last stage I shot yesterday, I come into the last position, and that magazine decided to go to Jesus.
yeah, I also heard you had a squib.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I it's like I
Oh,
so I figured that out.
was this the ammo that you were
No. New stuff.
new stuff?
I figured it out. The my what do you call that thing? The powder dropper thingy, powder hopper, whatever.
Yeah.
That the bar that makes it go in and out. There's this spacer disc. I don't know the words,
Yeah.
right? But this spacer disc thing that makes it so that it slides in correctly. And when I was watching it, it looks like it's articulating all the way, but it actually wasn't. And so it would sometimes look like it was going forward, but the cam or whatever you call that thing, it was actually skipping over the top of it. And the only reason I noticed it was because I started actually just like I usually load sitting down, but I actually would pull the handle, look down in it, there's powder, and I started noticing that there'd be like, it'd be this high, then this high, and it's like that seems weird. And so I was pulling them off and I measured them. I'm getting like 1.7 grains, 4.7 grains,
Yeah.
just all over the place. And I found that out like Friday night, and I was like, oh shit, that's what's happened. And it was Friday night that I ran the press arm up to the top, and then just everything kind of like exploded, just like all like just blew up, and springs went this way and that, and that's when I was like, oh shit, this is a problem. And so I replaced all that, and then everything's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, I ran 10, checked it, and I was checking it tons and tons. But I mean, I ran that entire bucket with a broken hopper that it looked like it was working, but obviously it was not. And that sucks to say my life.
And now you bring a squid rod, a little mallet, and that's a bunch of practice ammo. 1.7's almost enough to get it out of a barrel.
Almost.
You should just take a Glock 19. Let's just make the barrel shorter. And you'll possibly get it all out of. It's a Shield Plus. It's a Shield Plus kind of game. So Rune Tactical, promo code PARA10, and then also check out W74 guide rods. If your A01 LD is not heavy enough, get some weight, get some batteries, do all the things you can. Really tune out your gun. W74, same promo code PARA10. Telegram. Give you short notice for questions. You guys gave us some questions. We'll try to give you some answers.
From Dirk Hopkins, should we ban cell phones from matches like the Masters? I don't know what the Masters. What is that? Masters what?
That's the golf.
Oh, the
golf
thing.
term. Ban cell phones? No.
We
The
should ban
Masters
the Masters.
the Masters needs less publicity from people walking around on the greens. We actually need more publicity because we don't win millions of dollars for winning the Masters. We just go in the hole farther and farther and farther. That's it.
A golf course is a perfectly good waste of a rifle range.
Or it's the nicest rifle range. You choose.
You get to choose. Make sure to do it on Tuesday or Wednesday when the cops are shooting, because you'll have more time.
Yeah, you choose your own adventure. I mean, if the apocalypse ever happens or enough people get rich enough, they're just like, oh no, we're just gonna put berms at the end of this thing. Is this a 400-yard drive? Yeah, we got it. We're good now.
Oh yeah. From Jeffrey, don't talk about the latest video of a SIG allegedly popping off in a holster, because that ended a while ago.
Yeah, the Achilles heel tactical video that was posted where they're all on the line and the guy's giving the spiel on whatever he's trying to do, and then pop. He goes, "Who was it?" And then he gets down there. Is that a SIG P320? Yeah, clears it. Get it off my range.
Okay, so I saw that video, and maybe it's just me not wanting to believe anything, but on one hand, I don't believe anything SIG. I think SIG's all crap, mostly. But at the same time, if I'm an instructor and a gun pops off, the first thing I do isn't going to be walking over to somebody and asking if they have a SIG. I mean, somewhere along the line, is everybody okay? Did anybody get hurt? But his first comment is, was that a SIG? And so I'm not saying that the video is bullshit, but it doesn't seem human nature-y to be like your first words of saying, hey, was that a SIG?
I got the same impression that it felt a little
staged.
Not right, yeah, just a little staged or whatever. But apparently the people that were on that guy's right said he wasn't playing around. There were 6 people said that went off in the holster. Sure. Like, could people be in on it too? It's like, yeah, they could. And would it be having a viral SIG P320 video? Could that help your business? Like, yeah.
Could that be help? Yeah, exactly.
So it's just,
like I said, I don't want to cast shade or dispersion. It's just like instinctively in my mind, that's not the first thing I think of when a round goes off that I didn't expect to go off.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel the same way. But it is like what would you say? I would say even if the SIG stuff is 100% true that the guns completely go off, like I believe it, we're at the point where people might be helping those guns along for publicity, and then like you're cooked then when you're just like, oh, not only is the product faulty, but people are purposely trying to make the product be faulty, just so they can add claims that they were the other ones hurt,
Yeah.
So
the funny thing is, so I kind of stay off Facebook a whole lot, but this SIG thing is so old. I mean, this SIG going off, like uncommanded discharge, has been going on so long. It was pre-COVID when I was making memes about SIGs going off.
Yep.
It's been going on that long. It's not just this recent events that it's happened. It's been going on a long ass time. And the fact that like everybody's just like SIGs trying to sweep it under the rug, it stops today. Like, dude, it didn't stop 6-7 years ago.
Well, actually, just tell us the day that it did stop, when you guys stopped manufacturing shitty products. Tell us the day that you guys figured out what was wrong, and tell us the actual day it did stop, so that we can just say from here on back not to use those. But there are people like the 320s in a trench coat guy who kind of showed everyone the punch test, and is kind of like saying, like, I think it's the trigger bar. A good trigger bar kind of goes forward and down, and so it doesn't actually push off the sear, and a bad trigger bar will just go forward. And then he's just like, well, I can't. Here's 2 identical trigger bars. One fails the punch test each time and will fail the punch test in different fire control units. And here's the one that measures exactly the same, and this one passes all the tests. So who knows? Like, if it is reasonable to believe that some from one lot and some from the same lot would not would pass and fail, and maybe there's newer guns that have trigger bars that no matter what out of that entire lot won't fail. But it's a pretty sticky situation, that's for
Yep.
sure. The financial liability has to be through the roof.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day when SIG files and that we could pick the entire company up for a song.
Oh, you know what's going to happen?
How's that?
Palmetto State Armory will buy them.
Hell yeah.
That's what's going to be. Palmetto State Armory will buy them, and
I
literally,
mean, you take two companies that are known for lack of quality control, merge them into one, you get marginal quality control.
here's the thing. 10 years ago, you would have been like, "Oh, I got myself a Sig MCX," and people would have been like, "That's quality. That's a
Hell yeah.
quality gun," or like a P320. It's like, "Oh man, you're buying quality stuff," and then you'd be like, "I got a Palmetto State Armory AR-15 and a dagger," and they'd be like, "You're poor. You got shit equipment." And now, with both qualities of guns not really changing, I would rather have the PSA stuff than the SIG stuff. And if Palmetto State Armory buys them, it would actually improve the reliability reputation.
This is factually correct.
That's the world we live in. It's going to be fantastic.
I I'm waiting to see it. I'd be very excited to see that. From our good buddy Moisha, what are you pre-tariff eyeing or buying?
An iPhone and Heckler and Koch Mark 23 magazines. I bought those. I was like, oh, tariffs. They could go in. They could probably raise these things another, $22. Like I'm just gonna get these now.
Well, I was talking to my good friend Andy from that one shooting show, and we were talking about how like there's no reason to buy an SRO and pay SRO money when you have like the Vortex and the Holosun
Yep.
that are all made super cheap. But then when you actually start talking about the 154 whatever percent tariff, suddenly those Holosuns and Defenders aren't the cheapest thing in the world,
Oh yeah.
and that SRO is actually starting to look more viable from a financial standpoint.
Yeah, the price comparison. I wonder. Yeah, if Vortex, like, because if anyone was actually going to bring them and start making them inside the states, if there was tariffs, it'd be Vortex.
Yeah.
Vortex would start bringing that, but yeah, the cost of those would probably go up 30%, 40%.
Well, yeah, because they're made in China.
Yeah,
Like it says right on the thing, made in China.
the finest American made in Chinese goods possible. At least the Siley ones had the U.S. flag all over it, but was like, oh, this is 100% Chinese made. The Vortex ones are just like, well, if you ask us, we'll tell you, but it's for Americans.
Yeah, I don't know. The tariffs are weird, and I don't even begin to understand the logic behind them. I know just from a business standpoint, if you and I are going to do business, I don't know why I have to give you an extra $10 to do business. I don't get that.
Well, remember, tariffs. Like when they say we're going to tariff Mexico or we're going to tariff China, you don't have the ability to tax the Chinese. What you do is you have the ability to tax your own citizens for buying Chinese products. And that's where it is. So it's just discouraging people from buying Chinese products. Now, the other part is, too, it's like, hey, World War II happened and, like, a lot of stuff got blown up, and then we decided to let everyone participate in our market, and then they could tariff our stuff. And we're like, no, we'll be cool. And then, it's been 80 years. And so, like, you guys seem to be rebuilt enough that you're kind of acting like bratty teenage kids where you're like, F you, Dad. I'm buying oil from Russia. And I don't care if we're at war with Russia. I'm buying oil from Russia because we love each other. And then it's just like, no, we'll sell you our BMWs, but, oh, no, we're going to charge your Ford product an extra 40% tariff. It's just like, so it can't compete in our country. It's like, no, we could just be even now. Let's just be even. And let us have some of your market. We'll sell you some M&P pistols. You send some more H&Ks our way. We'll be fine.
Right, and that's the thing I don't get. I mean, my industry is so international I mean, everything, like we have windows that are made all over the globe, lumber that comes in from Canada. I mean, so much of, and truthfully, everything in this world that we have today it's all global.
Yep.
And the United States is obviously one of the biggest consumers of global stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know how that's going to affect the industry. Maybe I'll be selling that CZ at a steep discount here if the market goes bad. But
Yeah.
I'm,
Well, it would be kind of like, if people could just get, house designs from Canada were free. House designs from you were an extra 25%. Why? Because like you won a world war and you said you'd help people. And then it'd be kind of frustrating at the entire time. So I don't want tariffs. I just like, but if tariffs are going to be used for negotiating power to get everyone to 0-0, fine and dandy. Like I'm happy with that.
yeah, that's how I look at it. I mean, at the end of the day, I want if you and I make a trade, I want it to be you and I trading.
Yep.
That's it. I don't want to have anything between us. I certainly don't want a government stepping into itself. And this is like seriously, this is like Robert's economics according to Robert, and so it's probably worthless. But that's how I look at the world. Like you, me, we're going to trade something, and we're both going to walk away happy. The thing that's going to be actually really good is there's no tariffs on the used market. So if I sell you a gun or you sell me a gun, we don't have to tariff that, and
Yep.
we can keep the government out of it.
Once it's already imported, there's no more tariffs on it. So
Exactly.
that's at least some bit of a boon, but it's not much. Like free
So maybe
market, just let people buy stuff the way they want to buy it, and it'll go back and forth. If you want to tariff the hell out of China because they're a global bad guy, and they just send their students over here, and then we give them degrees, and then we send them to U.S. companies, and then they steal intellectual property and vamoose, and they hack into stuff. Cool, like it's fine with me. But
right.
the one thing I would like that tariffs has kind of taken the talk off is ending the Ukraine war, and I want the Ukraine war because it's terrible. People dying are terrible. But like, before the Ukraine war, cheap primers,
Mm-hmm.
cheap primers would be great again.
Yeah. I for one would like to see the price of ammo come down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like it.
Last question from my good buddy Mr. Alex Mansfield over on the Manny Talks podcast. How's the club manual work going? Well, it's not at all. We were supposed to have a meeting, and then it got moved to this coming week on Wednesday when we're doing the match. It's it's a they're supposed to provide a draft copy. The biggest challenge that I see with the draft in its current iteration, and I think everybody sort of recognizes it, the manual is really good if you are looking for something that describes how the administration needs to work. And so, if you want to know how a level three and works, or if you want to know who to call at headquarters, the club manual draft is like a-okay, and it's awesome. But if you're a match director who is trying to figure out the amount of money that it's going to cost just to buy a set two by fours for wooden stands, or where to even source like Targets USA or CHL products, whatever, where to source any of this stuff, that doesn't exist. And
The logistical part of it.
yeah, the stuff that like match directors really need to know, that's not in there. And I'm really hoping in this next meeting that we have, because the initial request was to go and report back on the draft, and my commentary to them is going to basically be, I like what you've done here. I like the idea of having this administration stuff, but to me, the administration is one section in the manual, and it's kind of the section at the end of everything. And the beginning of all of it needs to be 100% directed at the match directors, the future match directors, and how to actually find and source and build and do things like that, because that's really what new match directors care about more than anything. They sure as heck don't care about how to set up a level 3. They're trying to set up a level 1,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
And so it's going to get there. We have this meeting on Wednesday. I'm going to have a hard time getting to it because of the match, but um I really, really believe that USPSA wants this to move forward, and to the extent that I can be a part of that and help that just makes me happy, because I actually think there's value, there's actual legitimate value that the organization can be providing to the clubs and whatnot, and this manual will be that if we do it right.
Right on. Well, everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Robert Wyatt. And for Robert Wyatt, I'm Tom Nelson. Bidding you peace, love, and soul as we depart to the open waters of the sea of life on what we like to call the iPhone 16 Pro.
Good night, everybody.